as you can see, my ABS light is on. That's due to a problem with the front left sensor, which is broken. In the Volvo you also get a couple of other warnings. ABS anti-skid service required and brake assist service required. To remedy the problem, I've purchased a £9.99 budget ABS sensor, so we will see if that can extinguish my ABS light for good. Loosen wheel nuts. Jack up the car. And remove the wheel. The current ABS sensor lives down this little hole here. Sorry, it's a bit dark. So access it via the 10mm socket on a ratchet. Squirt of penetrating fluid. Leave that to work its magic. Give the sensor a wiggle with a screwdriver, or in this case some pliers. It should loosen up nicely. And then these sensors are easily damaged, but since I'm replacing it, I can pull up full force on its cable. So I'm now in a position to compare the sensors just to check for uneven wear, and they're looking pretty similar. There is a bit of wear on the tip of the old sensor, so we could be looking at a swollen reluctor ring, so we may have to do something a little different to cure that. So I've dropped the ABS sensor in place loosely, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little finger pressure on it, and I've added an axle stand underneath the vehicle so I can hopefully go around this side and have a really good look at the clearance, assuming there is one. So I'm underneath the vehicle now. You can see the reluctor ring here. One method of removal is to get a screwdriver in above and push up if you're really having trouble with your sensor. And what I want to do is turn the wheel, put a little finger pressure on the ABS sensor and check for a clearance. So with the car in neutral, I'm going to turn the brake disc, put a little finger pressure on top of the new ABS sensor and see if I can feel anything, and do a full rotation. And all is clear. I can't feel anything. But we'll remove the sensor and double check it for good measure. So I've wiggled the sensor out and nowhere whatsoever. There is actually a little trick I've heard of where if you put a washer this side of the sensor, you know, if you're dealing with a swollen reluctor ring, it'll just space it off slightly and your new sensor should be fine. Do let me know if you've ever used this method for success, because I was hoping to use it today, but it's not necessary. When refitting the sensor, some viewers don't like these magnetic pickup tools. If you wish to avoid that, putting the magnetic tool anywhere near the ABS sensor, which I think is advisable personally. I've just devised a quick little tip method of doing it. Socket there, plastic bag, there and it holds it just fine. So we'll refit using that technique. Now I've got everything torqued down, I'm going to do one more turn of this. I'll spare you it from the camera just to be doubly sure. So we've got the bonnet up, we're at the top of the car. This is the ABS sensor we have to remove, and it more or less drops straight down. Difficult to see, you can see it there. It just runs along the brake lines there, straight down, and appears here underneath this plastic cover, and then it connects to the brake. So we'll have a go at removing that. This is quite an awkward connector to remove. Basically it was fixed there, so we've slid it off, and what you have to do is push down there where my thumb is with a screwdriver or something, and it just comes apart. So with the connector removed, you can see the brake lines. Just pan down. There is actually a little clip for it. This one isn't in it, but we're going to have to loosen it from there. Well, access is really poor here. It is actually in the clip. There's a section on the side. You may be able to see the empty section. There is one section next to it. So I'm going to be totally honest with you here. I'm really struggling for access. There's a lot of pipe work here, and I can't get my hand in as far down as that clip near the brake pipes, that little white clip. So I've had an idea, and it's quite a simple job to remove the airbox in this car. So that's what I'm going to do, in the theory being I can get my hand underneath to deal with a cable. It's just undoing this clip here, and then these are a little bit trickier, these fixings. It's one of the little known uses for a socket. I think it could be 11mm. Put that on and then pull the airbox up, and then everything's nice and loose. But I keep my airbox loose on this car anyway. And if you have to do it, there's 1, 2, and another one down there. So we've removed the airbox in not much time in my case, because of the advantage of having it not sat on these clips. So I can now get underneath. Hopefully I can get my arm in there and liberate the cable fairly simply. Well, that was easy with sufficient access. Now it's just a matter of pulling the new cable through. So what I've done is I've tied some string to it, and I've got my ball of string there. So you can see my ball of string. So I've successfully pulled the old cable through with the string attached. So we're going to go exactly the same route. This rubber fitting got wedged in the brake pipe, but I was able to access it under here to free it with my hand. That was the only problem I've encountered. So without even cutting the string, what I've done is I've attached the new cable, and I've tied it on a specific way, so it's pulling that way, you know, so it's going to go through easier end ways than width ways. That's the theory, and I'm going to just very gently try and coax it through. I'm not going to be pulling on it at all with any real force, only tiny amounts, and just shake the cable about, whatever it takes. Well, that was reasonably straightforward. There's just a few pipes to wiggle it round, mainly brake pipes. If you're looking at it thinking that's wrong, well, I did cheat a little and move the cable to the other side of that, so we are in the exact same course. So we'll see if we can connect it and remove the string. Do follow the original route of the cable. Not sure about this. I think there's something missing off this car, but yours could well be different. A quick squirt of penetrating fluid helped to roll this in instead of pushing. Just give it a slight twist and it should drop nicely into place. So before we build everything up, we're going to have a quick check, go lock to lock, check everything's good, and we haven't disturbed anything. We don't want it snapping on full lock. So I've gingerly gone full right hand lock, which stretches the cable, full left hand lock, which slackens the cable. So the best I can do in the absence of the correct back bracket is a zip tie just to hold everything in. So I'm just going to check nothing's rubbing against anything metal before I reassemble. I will show you what the bracket looks like on the other side. It should be in these two holes here, but it's totally missing off this car. So we're at the other side. I'd just do a test if you've got this configuration, which is more likely than me, that nothing's rubbing on this drop link here. So we'll proceed to build everything up. As we've not been able to route the replacement ABS sensor by the desired Volvo way, now with the car on the ground, I'm just going to do a double check. I'm going to go to full right hand steering lock and have a look at it. So I'll turn the ignition on, and looks like we've still got the ABS warning on. So we'll start her up. Still on. I think we're going to need some motion to turn this off to give you the magic moment. So I'll just go full right hand lock. I'm going to do it in increments, so I'll spare you that. So I gingerly went up in full right hand lock in increments, and I noticed part way through that I've been unable to secure that. It was just on the verge of tearing when I discovered it, so we'll see if this repair works. So I think I'm going to have to leave it just like that. So I've built everything up, I'm back in the car, and we've still got the ABS warning light off, but one message appears to have changed if I'm not mistaken, and that is anti-skid temporarily off. So I'm going to go for a little drive and we'll see the end result. Well, I'm now back on my drive, and good news, the ABS light has been extinguished, which I'm really pleased about. I think I'll give the car a celebratory wash. So proof of concept is a £9.99 sensor from eBay can cure your ABS woes. Thanks for watching, and why not subscribe to improve your knowledge of repair possibilities.